Hi everyone, welcome back to the Casual Watch Review channel. Before we get into this week's review, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed and stuck with me over the last 5 or 6 years. I have just hit 20,000 subscribers, which has been a massive milestone for me. So a huge thank you and appreciation for everyone that has subscribed and stuck with me for those years. And if you're new to the channel, I would love it if you subscribe so we can get to that 30,000 soon. This week's review is something a little bit different, and I'm reviewing an Atowak watch. And this thing is, wow, this is quirky, and I'm going to be very interested to see the comments on this one. Atowak is a Hong Kong-based company. It's a very interesting design, reminiscent of Urwerk, but at about the 10th of the price, because these watches are $2,000, whereas an Urwerk is $200,000. So is that 1%? We'll work out the maths as we go through it. Let's flip the camera around and dive into the review. Well, let's start this review off with a resounding wow. Just look at this thing. This is probably one of the quirkiest watches I've ever reviewed on the channel, certainly for a long time. This is the Atowak steel. This is the silver steel. The dial is made from a combination of copper and aviation aluminium with a Geneva pattern. Let's look at those measurements before we dive in. So from the top of the crown to the bottom, which I suppose technically is the lug to lug, we've got a 49.8. The case dimension, well, at the largest part, we have a 43.4. There is no lug width because this watch has a very innovative strap changing system, which we'll talk about a bit further on. There is no less than 3 different sapphire crystals so that we can view that gorgeous 360 revolving satellite hour wheel. This is excellently finished. The finishing on the dial and the hands, if you could call them hands. Even down the side here, we have this carbon fiber inlay. And if I show you it under super macro, you can see almost every fiber. In person, it looks even more spectacular. Unbelievably, this watch is using a Myota movement, the 9039. So one of the top grade Myota movements. But I say unbelievably because you would think that there would be a special custom made movement to allow this satellite hand to do its work, but they have modified a Myota movement, and we can see it a little bit in the back. There is a slightly half transparent case back on here. We can see the rotor. They have customized the rotor on here as well. Surprisingly, for a large watch, it's very comfortable to wear. Also, surprisingly easy to tell the time on this watch. Here we can see that we're currently at 8:55, and then the second leg of the three hands, I would say, is ready to come round to mark in the 9 o'clock hour here. What is really cool about this satellite system, the hand revolves around. We can see the minutes across the bottom, and the pointer is pointing at those minutes. And then as the arms revolve around, those numbers spin, giving a really unique look that looks like it might be confusing to tell the time, but actually it's extremely easy. And what's really cool, they've got that extra cutout at the top here, just below the crown, that shows the revolution as it goes round, and you can see the number changing at the top, which is just a really cool touch. Pulling the crown out to set the time, we can see the watch really working its magic. You can see the hour rotating at the top here, and the pointers pointing to the minutes at the bottom. This is one of those watches that it might not be to my personal taste, but when I review watches like this, I always think that this might not be to everyone's taste, but the people who do like this and wear it will absolutely love it. It's one of those designs, and this could easily be worn as a daily watch. This isn't just a novelty or an occasional piece. This watch screams automotive as well, I think, because of the name Cobra, and also how the minute track is along the bottom, very reminiscent of a gauge on a car. One of the many interesting things about this watch is where it's manufactured, and it is manufactured in Hong Kong. For years there was questions around, wow, what would happen if these watchmakers really put their minds to making their own watches instead of outsourcing watchmaking components to even some of the Swiss brands, or, as we know, a lot of the fake watches. But what could be done if they really put their minds to it? And I think one of the interesting evolutions in my channel is reviewing brands from Hong Kong and China and seeing just how good the quality is getting. We recently reviewed the Sega Designs, the Planet, that won the GPHG award, and I've reviewed Phoebus and other brands that are Hong Kong based. I think we're seeing a real renaissance of watchmaking coming from those regions, and this is a prime example of that. It looks many thousands of dollars more than what its RRP price is. The finishing on the hands using that steel and that carbon to frame the wheels as they go round, the polishing elements, that carbon fibre on the side, the printing of the numbers on the dial, if you can call it a dial, all executed to a very, very high standard. And the fact that they've managed to add a module onto the Myota movement, which is a fairly off-the-shelf, very good quality movement, one of their top movements, the 9039, but taking an off-the-shelf movement and creating a complication on top of it, I think is a real testament to watchmaking and a very exciting period of watchmaking to be part of. This might not be to everyone's taste, but I think certainly if you like the look of this, you will not be disappointed with the fit, finish, quality of it. Even down to the box that it ships in, comes in a very high quality wooden box, very nicely presented, very pleasantly impressed with this watch when I originally unboxed it. The watches are available in several different dial finishings and hand colours. There is also DLC coated versions as well. The watch is surprisingly comfortable on the wrist. Here you can see it on my 7.2 inch wrist. It certainly wouldn't go under a cuff, I would say. It's definitely a statement piece, a definite conversation starter. The strap is very easy to swap out, and I don't think I've seen a strap change system like this before. But essentially you unlatch it here, it's spring loaded, and then you just pop the watch strap out. Here it is without the leather strap or the bracelet. Watchfinder joked that this would make an interesting desk ornament, and I suppose it would. The watch also includes a bracelet, which is a really nice touch. You don't often see watch companies giving a bracelet and a strap option that are both included, and both high quality. The leather strap is very high quality. This has a mixture of brushed and polish elements with screw-in end links. It includes the screwdriver so you can adjust the strap for your wrist size. Includes a very solid butterfly clasp, nice push button action on there. This isn't a cop-out that they've included this. This is a very high quality bracelet. And because of the strap change system, we can very easily swap it from the bracelet to the leather strap, really within seconds there. And the bracelet gives it an entirely different look and feel. I'm not sure which I personally prefer it on, but I think that the option to swap between the two is a massive advantage. And also the other good thing, to be honest, about them including two straps is that these are likely only the two straps that you would ever be able to put this watch on, because it's using that non-standard lug system. You certainly wouldn't be able to get it on a NATO or any of your other straps that you might have in your watch strap box. Really innovative design. Big thanks to Atowak for sending me this in. These watches are available on their website now for $2,000, although I think there might be a coupon on there at the moment. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I'm very interested to know what you think in the comments section down below. As always, appreciate you watching. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. I've just hit 20,000 subs, so big thanks to everybody that's been supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time on Casual Watch Reviews.